This is David Mamet. Tonight's Chicago Theaters on the Air production is Never the Sinner by John Logan, an exploration in flashbacks of the dark relationship between Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb, the teenaged thrill killers who in 1920s Chicago kidnapped and murdered a young boy. They were subsequently defended in a sensational trial by Clarence Darrow. We take you now to Chicago in 1924, where the carefree mood of the Jazz Age is about to be shattered by the crime of the century. We were at the University of Chicago. Nathan Leopold, an intense young student, delivers a lecture on ornithology. He's made increasingly nervous by the presence of Richard Loeb, who is seated directly behind him. Part 1 of John Logan's Never the Sinner.
The prairie falcon makes little fuss over the capture of small game, that is to say, over the capture of game smaller than itself. It simply materializes out of the blue and picks up a gopher or smaller bird as quietly as you or I would pluck a flower. Its approach, no doubt, has been nicely calculated. The falcon, launched from a height of a half mile to a mile, controls its swoop through slight openings of the wings. This is to check the caliber and intent of the victim. The final plunge, therefore, has the speed and accuracy of fate. In the case of game larger than itself, the quarry is knocked headlong by a crashing blow to the skull. When the falcon's nest has been disturbed, the huge bird will swoop high into the air, turn for a vicious attack. Although it is possible that the bird molts at least once a season, nothing is known about the manner of the molting. It is a strong, bold, fearless fighter, but it is wary, shy, and secretive when it is threatened or subject to molestation. Like most adult hawks, it likes to sit on dead trees and other conspicuous perches that will give it a wide outlook over the domain it considers to be its own. Now, as this is our first trip into the bush, I will remind you all of a few of our prime birding rules. First, we must be as quiet as possible so as not to frighten off our prey. Second, we must blend in as naturally as possible with the environment. Finally, we must watch our step. There are culverts and channels in the marshes which could cause serious injury if any of you were to fall into them. All right, then. Head out to the cars, and I will meet you in a moment.
July 21st, 1924. Leopold and Loeb trial begins today.
From the vantage point of the crowded press box, we saw them enter. Leopold, dark and brooding, shifting impatiently as his handcuffs were removed. Loeb, bright and airy, flashing his killer smile and cut